Hey everybody. So as I talked about with some of our patients before we close the practice, what I'm going to be doing is showing some stretches and some movements that can be done at home. The point of these stretches and movements is not necessarily to treat a problem such as say a headache or a migraine, but to really to make sure of course that we're keeping as healthy as possible. For the patients that we see, of course, we want to see their progression always improving, and for most they're getting to that point where things are improving, but we don't want things to go back down because we've stopped. So what this is doing is helping to help maintain that. Also for anybody else maybe who isn't a patient, these are stretches that you of course can be trying for yourself at home. And as I put into the comments, the main things with this is to number one, help to maintain results which you've already achieved. Number two, to help prevent any problems going forward. And also to make sure that if it does come to a point where maybe say you've been sitting at home and maybe you're working from home and it's in an uncomfortable position, there is some level of treatment that you can provide for yourself while in this time we are closed. As a lot of people will know at this point, it's not just ourselves. Chiropractors are all closed, physiotherapists, osteopaths, even TCMs when it comes to anything physical, as well as masseurs. So at this point, it's very important to try and take care of yourself at home, whether it means doing some exercise, doing some stretching, or of course just making sure that you're not sitting all the time for your work and you are getting out and doing some more movement. Of course, making sure that while doing so, you are maintaining safe distancing and you're not jeopardizing the health of anybody else around you, and of course, keeping in regulation with the laws that Singapore is setting at the moment. So today's stretches, which to be honest aren't actually really stretches, these are going to be mobilization movements. So these are very specifically going to be for your spine and for your neck. The ones we're going to be doing first are going to be for the neck, and there'll be two variations that I'll be showing you. So for the neck, all you'll need is a simple towel. So again, this is a normal sized towel, not using a big beach towel, not using a very small hand towel, but it's in a normal sized towel that hopefully everyone should have access to. And all I want you to do is I want you to fold it. So in this point, this is already folded, say into squares, into quarters. Fold it one more time over, so it's now been folded over 4 times, and then just rolling it up. So all you're gonna do is from here, roll it up just like this. The other option, which I'll be going through later properly, for option 2, is where you would have again, towel in the same situation, take a bottle, so it doesn't matter which type of bottle it is, preferably something that holds around 500 mils, so this would be a normal water bottle. In this case, this was a 1.800 plus bottle, and just having that in here, rolling it in, and then rolling around it. But this will be for step 2, which we'll go over later. First thing I'll do though, is of course, as I was showing you, we'll take that towel, have it in now in quarters, fold it over again, and just rolling all the way down. If you want to, you can also take, say, an elastic band and wrap it around if you want to make sure it stays tight. However, if it's nice and tightly wound, things should be okay. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to be placing it underneath the neck. So I'm just going to grab the camera, I'm going to come down here. So as we can see from today, unlike normal when I'm in the clinic, when we're doing some of our videos, today we are actually in my house. So I'm in my room, and I have my little setup here with my mat for yoga as well. So all we're doing is taking this and putting this behind the neck here. And from here, making sure that we're keeping our shoulders nice and back, so not curling forward, but bringing them nice and back so that they're touching the floor. Also bringing the arms out, so not curling around you. Bringing the arms down from here, making sure that this is again underneath the neck, not under the head, but under the neck itself. So it'll promote that nice, better curve, that healthier curve we want to see in the neck, where the curve is coming more, say, this way, rather than being straight. And then all you do is have the arms out to the side and rest in this position. Especially if you're spending more time sitting for work, especially if you're crouching over and maybe even leaning forward because you're doing work on your laptop or on your computer, this will help to negate and to hopefully prevent some issues going on in that part of the neck. Because if there are those parts in the neck where there are issues that can cause other problems such as headaches, migraines, vertigo, and of course neck pain, which may even lead to problems down the arm and the shoulder, including tingling, numbness, weakness, or cramps. So when you're in this position, like I said, make sure it's in the neck, it's not in the head. So your head should actually be touching the floor if possible. If things are a bit more extreme, we'll go through that in the second stretch. When you're in this position, we're going to start with it for 5 minutes. And that seems like a very long time, but to be honest, a stretch for 10 seconds will only last for 10 seconds. You need more time so that those muscles and so those ligaments and those joints can get used to this new position. Once you've had this for that time, and say around 5 minutes, again, if it's hurting, stop. Then the next day we want to try and build this up to 10 minutes and eventually going up to around 13 to 15 minutes. That will be the very max that we want to go up to. Anything beyond that will not be as helpful. A lot of this is based on the science of what we call creep. So it's how long those muscles, those ligaments, and those other parts take to get used to this new position so they will align properly. So once you've had this, we'll now show you the second one. So after you've been holding that position, maybe it's been getting a bit too easy. Maybe say if you're a bigger person, like say if you're someone smaller, say if you're maybe 5'2", it's okay for you to have that lower position with just a towel. So for myself, I'm a little bit taller. I'm some other people who are bigger than myself. This is where you would really want to have that bottle coming in. However, I will say that I would suggest starting with just the towel, not starting with the bottle, to see how the body is. Don't try and jump straight into something which may be a bit too extreme for yourself. So then, what I've done is I had the bottle on the inside. This is only into quarters. Rolling it up, coming around. So again, you can still see the top of the bottle in there. Again, you may notice for this one, it's a bit more solid. It's a bit more tough. And then we're going to take the camera back down here again. So we're going to do the same thing, lying back here, we're taking that bottle now with the towel around it and coming down here. Now again, making sure that it is under the neck, you bring the shoulders back and down, having the arms out to the side. You may notice for this one that your head is not touching the floor. If your head is too far up like this, then it's not going to be worth it. Maybe you should try and use maybe a smaller towel or a smaller bottle. However, still trying to promote that healthy curve in the neck. You may feel like there's a bit of pressure in here. A little bit of pressure is okay. However, it is to be noted that for all of these movements, if there's any pain, discomfort, any other symptoms going down in the shoulders, the hands, or it feels like it's making things worse, stop. This is your body's indicator that this is not the right kind of movement for you. And of course, you can contact us and we'll be happy to try and walk you through how this can be done. The timing is exactly the same. So again, starting with 5 minutes, even if say you've been in the other exercise and you've worked your way up to that 15-minute mark, when you start with this, start again at 5. It is a bigger change and it will be putting a bit more pressure onto the neck. So starting here at 5 minutes and then building up to again 10 and then potentially 13 to 15 minutes. Doing this once a day with either of these stretches will help to again kind of reverse or to at least balance out some of the stress that may be built in, especially if you're spending more time sitting and more time working at a desk or a computer. So again, having over this position, letting it just kind of hang down. So again, you're not tight and tense, and the body hang down, creating that nice, smooth, natural curve in the neck through here. Okay, once you've done this, I want to talk a little bit about, of course, some of the times when you should or should not be doing this. So in terms of this exercise that I just mentioned, if it starts to cause pain, stop. This is the way that your body is telling you you should not be doing this. If it's starting to cause any tingling, numbness, weakness, cramps, anything down the arm, anything which it feels like it may be giving you a headache or maybe making things worse, please stop. This is not an indicator that you should try and fight through it. It's an indicator that you should really stop doing this. If you have any questions, of course, you can either put them in the comments for this video or you can call us or email us and I'll be happy to answer the questions and try to walk you through how to do this kind of movement. As well as this, okay, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking not just about the neck, we're going to be doing a movement for your spine. So this is going to be, again, another mobilization movement. One of the problems we have is that when people are, say, at their workplace, most people are not sitting perfectly straight with their neck in a nice position, having a perfect spine and perfect posture. Especially if you're working on a computer, if you're working in anything, maybe even in, say, design or digital, you're not coming forward. And as you come forward, this is then going to slouch that posture. For every inch that your head comes forward, it's now increasing the amount of work your neck has to do, which is not just going to compress and affect all of the nerves, but it's also going to start to affect all the muscles and the joints as well. And if they're getting more affected, it's kind of like yourself. If I give you a heavy weight and ask you to hold it here, it's much, much easier than holding it out here. And as you start to come more forward, it's the same thing for your neck. Your muscles are not unlimitedly strong. As you come forward, it's going to start to put more strain onto them. So we want to make sure, of course, we are in a nice position, but to be realistic, no one's going to maintain a perfect posture while they're doing this. So these are things you can do, say, at the beginning and end of a work day to try and mitigate some of the stresses that's been put on, because we all have to carry on working. We all have things that we have to do. So for the other one we talked about, this is going to be more for the spine. And as I mentioned, as we come more forward like this, it's not just that we come forward, but we also are rolling and bringing everything around with our posture as well. So this is going to help to open things up. This one may be a little bit more difficult. For this, you would actually need what we call a foam roll, and I particularly prefer using a longer foam roll. Now, when most people foam roll, what they're doing is they're putting it along the body. So as an example, I have my foam roller here. When most people are foam rolling, they have it going across the body like this, whether it's on the spine or other parts, and they are essentially rolling up and down. Maybe they're trying to find those tender points, they're trying to find those adhesions or those other parts of the muscles. That's not what we're going to be doing today. Like I said, this is not about stretching or even doing some sort of massage. This is a mobilization exercise. So instead of going along, we're going to have it going up the length of the spine itself. So from here, I'm going to correct my mat. So from here, I'm going to be sitting essentially on there, coming down the length and balancing along. So the idea is that this is along the length of the spine. So bring the camera down here. So the idea is that we have this going along the length of your spine. From here, trying to make sure that you have the head touching the back as we do here, making sure that when we're looking, say, in the lower back here, that there isn't a big arch where you can put your hand underneath. Instead it's nice and flat, so we're keeping the bum tucked in. And then from here, just opening up those shoulders and allowing them to drop back down. Again, this is just helping to straighten out that posture from the curve forward that has been incurred all day. Again, the timing for this is very, very similar. I would suggest starting with 5 minutes and trying to work your way up. I would say getting to 15 minutes, maybe a bit more uncomfortable, because these, especially these foam rollers that are a little bit harder, they're going to be pressing closer to those areas of the bone in the spine. So I'd say starting really with 5 minutes and maybe progressing your way up to 10 minutes. However, the same rules apply. If things are uncomfortable, stop. Do not continue doing these kind of movements or exercises. So again, making sure that the arms are down to the floor. You're not up here, you're not curling up. No using your phones either, because otherwise if you use your phone, you're going to be changing the angles of your shoulders and everything else. If you want to play some music, you want to listen to an audiobook, you want to have a conversation with your loved ones, that's fine. But not using your phones at these particular times. And making sure again your head is in a neutral position, not turned to one side because you're trying to maybe watch TV or something else like that. Okay, so again, doing this on a daily basis, especially doing this maybe after exercise or after you've had a long day of work, can be very helpful to mitigate some of the issues that are going on from sitting at home more often. Like I said, for all of these movements, for both of them, trying to make sure that if things are hurting, stop. Don't continue to do them. If you have any questions, of course, you can always ask us. So you can either give us a call or a WhatsApp at 8438-9550, or you can email help@vitalitychiropracticcentres.com. We are also going to be still conducting, for any new patients, online consultations. So these online consultations will be on, of course, as it sounds, online. They can be booked via our website, and it will be a chance for us to go through a full history before coming in. Of course, we cannot start any treatment because we are going to be closed at least for the end of this month. But what this does mean is that we can streamline that process so that when we are able to open properly, by that time we'll already have had a history. We can already actually have the x-rays taken because our x-ray center we work with is an essential service. And then once we do reopen, we can go straight into doing a physical examination and starting treatment, if possible, on that day. Again, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call or a WhatsApp. You can always give us an email, and we're going to be doing another video for tomorrow. So this is again number 1 of 3, going through stretches. Tomorrow's stretches we're going to be going through some for the upper body. Okay. If you have any questions, you can let us know. Otherwise, have a great day and please stay safe. Stay safe and stay healthy.